Welcome to this special edition of the You Transform podcast. I recorded my Monday night class that I taught in Dallas, which was about experiencing the energy of unlimited abundance, of unlimited wealth. That is who you are at the deepest level. Why do you not feel it? Why do you not see it? I'm going to come at this with a different perspective than you probably have heard before. Now, if you followed the podcast in the past, you might be wondering, where have I been? What's going on? I've been with my dad hosting retreats. We have been in person doing live experiences. That's where you can find us the most. Definitely come out to one of our retreats for a deeply immersive, deeply loving moment. But let's go ahead and get into this episode. Remember, this is recorded audio from my class about experiencing the energy of abundance. Tonight, I know you guys are excited because the class is about experiencing the energy of unlimited abundance and wealth. And for most people, it's like, that sounds pretty good. Like, I want to have an ATM that spits out abundance in any way that I need all the time, right? We would all sign up for that. And so we all have that actually, but it's discovering why we're not allowing ourselves to experience it. And I'm going to go over some things tonight. If you have a question or you want to ask or interact, by all means do. And we're also going to do a little exercise later on and a really powerful group meditation as well. So the first thing to realize when it comes to the energy of abundance is that the most important form of abundance is love. That's the most important way or experience of abundance that we can have. So many people, when they hear the word abundance and they think about manifesting wealth or abundance or prosperity, they typically lean immediately towards material items, to money, to a home, to a car, things like that. The most powerful form of abundance, though, is love. And ultimately, that's what you want more than anything anyway. Because you might be a little skeptical. It's like, okay, I have some love in my life, but that doesn't pay the bills. Well, the more love you experience with others, giving love and receiving it, it takes away fear. It takes away fear, right? Because if you're loving to others and you give your love out and you show up that way in your life and you be that way, even if you changed today and you were just loving and caring and serving in the next year, you'd have a lot of friends. You'd have a lot of people that care about you. So if you fall on hard times, or if you're like, I don't know if I'll be able to make it if I quit my job and start this business. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. I don't know where I'm going to live. What if I do go bankrupt? Someone's going to take care of you. You have a lot of people that love you. So when you see that as the biggest and greatest form of abundance, what it does is it takes away fear and doubt. You might have a fear or a doubt around, where am I going to get the money to pay for rent this month? What would happen? What would happen? What would happen? What would happen? And a lot of that is based on the ego wanting to be okay. Like, I'm going to look bad though if I'm homeless, or I'm going to look bad if I have to ask my parents or ask a friend to live with them for a few weeks, etc. A lot of times it's something that's based in the ego not wanting to be perceived a certain way. But when you remove all of that, it's like, wow, this love that I'm abundant with already also supports everything else that I need. And I just want to start with that today. I want to start with that because it's usually ignored. People who are in great relationships, who have like loving kids, great friends, they like sometimes don't notice that that's connected to abundance. And that is the most abundant energy that you can even have anyway. That's much more powerful than having dollars in your bank account, right? So noticing that love is the ultimate currency, appreciating that, leaning into that, is going to also lead to any other side effect of material abundance and currency. And it's really kind of amazing because when I was thinking about this earlier, I was like, yes, I do have some family members and I have a couple of closer friends, but even if I didn't have them, in the last decade, I mean, I've done a lot of things that have been service-oriented, helping people. And I know if I literally lost my house or lost the ability to take care of myself tomorrow, there are hundreds of people who would like line up and be like, hey, can I please help you? Like, you can come and stay with me, I'll help you. And that's an amazing feeling inside of me. And that's an abundance of love. And so if I'm like, everything's wiped out and I'm so, people will go to the worst case scenario, like have nothing, I have nothing, I have nothing. Well, you still are, actually. You're an infinite soul. That can never be taken away from you because you are everything, individualized. And then, because of this abundance of love, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not afraid to take risks now. I'm not afraid to be like, hey, let me give this person some money. Let me invest in this. You need some help, let me help you. There's not a lack mindset because it's based in love and abundance and overflowing support and sharing in the oneness. And what does that do for myself? What does it do for others? Obviously, we help each other out. So sometimes I have someone in my circle or in my life who's in need. I'm like, I'm so grateful I have something to give you right now. And maybe there's a moment where I'm in need of something and someone also will give me something, and it's a huge blessing. So noticing that currency of love is really big. Now I want to step into this next area that for some of you, you're like, totally, this makes sense to me, I get it. For others, it might be a little out there. But give me a moment on it. And that's that you are God, and I am too. We are all oneness. We are all from the same source. We're all from the same creator. Regardless of a religious, philosophical, theoretical perspective, if everything, even scientifically speaking, if you believed in the Big Bang as the principal beginning of creation that we experience now, everything all came from something smaller than the size of an atom and then expanded outward. Therefore, everything that currently exists has to be from the initiating point. It all has to be of the same substance and substrate, scientifically speaking. If you believe even in a Judeo-Christian model or something like this, and there's this Father God who created us, there's the Son of God, there's Jesus, etc. All who were created have to also be a part. Just as if we have children in this lifetime, they're from our own DNA. They're very similar to who we are, right? Human beings, slightly genetically modified. Clearly that would have to be the same case in a spiritual, energetic context. What I'm getting at is that we are all one, and when you know that I'm actually God, so are you, so is everyone and everything, by the way, including other things that don't seem to be, because a chair, a tree, a cat, these are all from the same energetic substrate. So that's ultimately all God as well. So when the water falls and it rains and you needed rain for the plants to be supported so that you can have food, so that you can continue to survive, let's just say for the simplicity of this conversation, that was God falling down on God so that God could eat. Does that make sense? Now, it might be a little out there, but what I'm getting to is that whenever you recognize the oneness in life, and you're in a moment where you're like, wow, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out. I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this debt. I don't know where to go from here. Whenever you get quiet and you let go of the doubt and the fear and you just get still for a moment and you ask for help, who do you think is going to answer? God's going to answer. And when I say God, I'm just saying source, universe, they're all just different synonyms for the same thing. So whenever you see life this way and you recognize someone comes up to give you something or offer you a job or invite you to an event or give you some money or I don't know, give you a job, whatever it is, and you perceive like, wow, that's literally God helping me as God, and I get to help another part of me. I get to help another part of the creation. We're all the same, from the same source. This takes away fear, because if you are in oneness and you are the creator individualized and you're in need of something, your ultimate truth is wholeness. Your ultimate truth is that you're unlimited. Your ultimate truth is that you're infinite. Your ultimate truth is that you're love. And if you allow yourself, you will be supported in the moment that it's needed. So next time you're in need, or next time you get to help, like whenever I give someone who's homeless and they, if I have money in my wallet, I always want to give something. And, bless you. I try to remind myself as soon as I'm giving them something, or right after, that was God right there. Just like I am, just like everyone is. So that I get out of the egoic human perspective of hierarchies. Oh, I'm better than this person, I'm different than this person. Oh, have pity on them, oh, sympathy. There's no sympathy, there's only empathy. There's a recognition that I compassionately care for you. I know I'm compassionately cared for when I need as well in different ways. If I have the opportunity to help, I will. It's not about being a savior for everyone or all of life. That's not the point. But when you start to live life this way, and you don't see yourself as separate, you see yourself as a part of everything that's perfectly intertwined and working together, it's an ecosystem. You will always have what you need. Others will too. And when you step into becoming all that you are, you're allowing others to become all that they are. And when I say all that you are, I really mean that greatest form of God individualized as you. So for one, it may look like Mozart and being an incredible musician, an artist, a musical artist. For another, it could be the most amazing mother who raises kids compassionately, takes care of them. Being all that you are. The phrase, be all that you can, is very problematic. Be all that you can is, I put pressure on myself because I could be better. Being all that you are allows you to step into the fullness of your truth. So take the pressure off of yourself and allow others to be all that they are. And so that's what's happening right now on the new earth, by the way. We are ascending in consciousness as a collective. We are stepping into the new earth. The new earth's not going to be lack, control, manipulation based. It's going to be, we actually care about one another. We love, we see who each other, we see the depth of who we are inside. And that's honored and respected and revered. And of course, that abundance and flow and sharing is allowed. And I'm not talking about some sort of governmental approach like communism and we have to share. That's not the point. It's not because someone's forcing you ideologically. You share because your heart is open. And when you know another part of creation is you help that part of creation because it feels good. There's this conversation about if there's no judgment, if there's really no right or wrong, people can just do whatever they want. That's not how it works, though. Whenever you raise your vibration, you grow closer to unity. Your heart is more open, and you see everyone else as a part of you. You naturally help because you care, and it's hard not to. There's no third party that forces you to be good, is basically what I'm talking about. There's no moralistic police that's necessary. So whenever you see others as God, and you're in a moment where it's like, I really need this. I really choose to have this experience. I'd love to buy a home and live in a house, or I'd love to start this business, or I need some help. I've got to pay this debt. I don't know what to do. You ask in silence. You allow it to come in the way that it's meant to. God will serve God in some way. And that's the unlimited energy of abundance. You can never run out of what you are. You can never not have what you need. And my favorite abundance affirmation is one that my dad has been using a long time, and I finally started saying it more in my head and using it. I let all things come to me and not an easy and effortless way. That's actually good abundance affirmation too. No, it's everything comes to me in a perfect way. That's literally what it is. Everything comes to me in a perfect way, or all that I need comes to me in a perfect way. It's really that simple. It does. The mind can get in the way, though, because it can worry and it gets anxious. And it's like, I don't see it yet. Well, it's not supposed to be here right now. You're supposed to go outside and play while the cake is baking. When the cake is ready, sit down and eat it. Don't stare at the oven for an hour. I don't think it takes that long to bake a cake, so maybe some cakes. So that's the starting point, right? Love is the ultimate currency of abundance. And everyone and everything is actually a part of you. So you can recognize that, and it'll change your reality. Now, there's this little 3-step process for experiencing abundance. It's kind of like the next steps now. Do you guys have any questions up to this point? Like, is it just landing really well? Do you want me to keep going?
Keep going.
This is my TED Talk right here. So, we're going to talk about 3 things. This is like this formula, if you want to use that word. And when you have these 3 things in place, you're going to experience unlimited abundance. Now, I don't mean like, oh, millions and billions of dollars and everything I need. Well, you always have what you need, trust me. But some people have this idea where it's like, if I master spiritual principles, that means I can on demand manifest whatever I want. That might not be for the best and highest good for the collective. You're a part of the human collective as well. But that emotional experience, the love experience related to that creation will happen for you. Definitely. You just can't be attached to it looking in an exact way. A certain period of time it has to arrive, or that's the how. Don't worry about the how. Okay, so the first part of this formula, you could say, is it's going to be let's do non-resistance. So it's non-resistance. Non-resistance. If you are experiencing something in your life and you really don't like that it's happening, what's something that people don't like in their lives? Anything?
A breakup.
Breakup. You really don't like it, right? You're like, I wanted this relationship to continue. I've seen the honeymoon so many times, all of this, and it happened, right? We broke up. You clearly don't want that in the moment. And the initial emotional wave already went through you, right? That powerful sadness from the loss that you feel, the perceived loss at least. That wave's already actually gone through you, but you keep reactivating it because your mind is not okay with what happened. It wanted to control the outcome. And it's like, I thought this was going to happen. I thought this was going to happen. Change is the only constant, right? Change is always going to happen in this lifetime or other lifetimes or all of reality. It doesn't matter how you look at it. But non-resistance is being able to do nothing while being fully present with what is. So it's not that you're like trying to do nothing, because that would still be doing something. It's that whenever the breakup happened, and now, you cried, you took some time, that's all natural. It's natural to feel the emotions. You actually allow yourself to feel the emotional wave still, if it's there, without the resistance of like, no. It's basically a stubbornness. That stubbornness is like, no, I don't want this. No, I don't want this. And that resistance related to love, a relationship, or related to money or any other form of abundance will keep you in a holding pattern until you learn your lesson, right? You're pushing it away because the universe sees separation. The universe reads, if you want to say the quantum field electromagnetically, is reading your vibration. Your vibration is a combination of your thoughts and your emotions and your actions. And your thinking thoughts of loss and separation and sadness and frustration and what happened in the past and all of that, and you're emotionally feeling some of those things, your actions might be looking at photos from the relationship, checking on this person on social media, or like a lot of things that are ruminating in the situation. That'll keep you vibrationally in this level that is in resistance. And it's sending a signal out of separation. I'm separate from love because I lost it. I'm separate from love because I lost it. Therefore, the universe will keep that going, keep that going, keep that going, right? We have a mirrored representation of our internal state outside. So if we continue that state of being, we'll continue to be in a depressive state, and you're not going to attract like the love of your life when you're in that state either. So give yourself some time to heal, to feel, to go within, to accept, be around people who love you. It's a process, but go through it and you'll be okay. And then you won't have resistance. But what I'm pointing out is this resistance to what is right now. So if you're resisting being broke, or you're resisting financial lack or something like this, you're really annoyed, you're frustrated, you're mad, like you're not okay with that being what is right now, that does keep it in place for longer. So there's the paradox. It's like, well, if I'm okay with it, doesn't that mean it's going to always stay because I accept it? That's not what it means. What it means is that you're no longer grabbing at the situation. You let it just be what it is right now. Be what it is. It's like a cut on your arm. If you keep picking at it and grabbing it, the wound can fester, it can, crust over, it can get infected because you're constantly messing with it. It's going to heal itself. The non-resistance allows it to heal itself. And the other two things I'm about to talk about are relevant, right? And stepping forward, if you want to have a new experience, you totally can. So non-resistance is definitely the hardest one out of the three things I'm going to talk about. But it's very, very important to surrender and let go and be in what is right now. It's like, this is what is right now, and I'm just going to be with what is right now. And I accept that. So the next thing I want to point out, if you guys have a check mark on this one, that's really great, by the way. So that's like an A+ for sure. The next one is serve from the heart. So this is the next thing in our formula for unlimited abundance. So now that I'm not in resistance to what is, maybe I had this cushy 6-figure job that was totally wiped out because, I don't know, AI took my job and now I don't have it anymore, and now I have to go make coffee at Starbucks or something, as an example. Serve from the heart every time you make coffee, talk to people, care about them, or whatever you're doing. Or if you can do other things in your life, and you're genuine, and your intention is caring and service and helpful, whatever it is that you do. Whether it is you're programming code, or you're making coffee, or you're just sending love to someone, or opening the door, I don't know. When you begin to live life with a purpose of experiencing more love, giving more love, receiving it, remember, love's the ultimate currency of abundance, which is going to be the biggest needle mover for you anyway. This is I've been an entrepreneur since I was 15, and earlier on, and I've been shifting, and I've shifted a lot, but it used to be more, yes, I want to help, but I also want to grow the business. And I would look at it more from a marketing side and business. And those are fine tools. I'm not saying you can't do that, but part of it was growth and numbers, and I want to do bigger and better things over time. And that's a longer story, but I was serving from the heart, but with the caveat, as long as it helped my numbers grow. Does that make sense? And that's not true authenticity. So serving from the heart because I know I can do something for someone, and that's why I do it. That's what we're talking about here. Paradoxically, of course, that leads to great abundance and your business growing and everything because people just know you're there to help them. It's like whenever you call a company or you reach out to someone and they actually tell you they're not the right person for you, but by the way, I know of this other person and you should call them. That serves from the heart. Like, have you guys had that happen before? That's like, wow, like I really wish I could hire you now because you're so transparent. Whenever they're like, I just want to help you. I don't care if I make a sell or not. That's what we're talking about. It doesn't have to be business, but I'm just saying in general, how can I help someone today? So even if you have what's perceived as a dead-end job right now and you're doing, something simple, if you can still care and be present in that job, and outside of it, maybe you have a special skill and you can let people know that you're here to help them with it. So just how can you help someone? How can I help someone? That's like if I get frustrated or like, let's say the business is at a halt or there's things going on in my life, I'm like, how can I help someone today? That's one thing that helps me get off of that downhill track, or that downward spiral. I'm like, what can I do to help someone? Even just one person, let me just help someone. Because I know that it opens my heart. It just helps me like boomerang back, or rebound, get back into this place of service. Is this making sense so far? You guys want to see the third one? So the third one is creation of your choice. This is the fun stuff you guys you're hoping for, right? You're like, I really hope I still get to manifest something. So creation of your choice, what does that mean? We're talking about, let's say you want to make a certain amount of money or have a house or a car or start a business or whatever it is, right? And you have that thing you want to manifest and you perceive it as more abundance in your life. It's okay to do that. You're a creator. You can choose something. It's a choice. It's a choice that you're making. So it's not just like a desire or I have to have it or once I get it, I'll finally be okay. That's a hamster wheel. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. So if you choose to have an experience that feels to be in alignment with who you are, there might even be intuitive guidance. I feel like I'm supposed to start this business or write this book or do this thing, whatever it is. Start a meetup, Follow that, feel it, and by all means, you can write it down on a future vision. You can make a future vision board. You can do a ritual, and it's done. It's like, I created that. I created it. It's already done. And don't talk like it's not going to happen anymore. As soon as I make a choice on something, who has been in here the longest in this group? I think Muriel maybe has been in here the longest. Yeah. I don't know how long though, like a year and a half maybe? Yeah. Okay, so not maybe long enough. Because like back then even, I would say things like, I'm going to have a house in the mountains someday. Didn't I say that a lot?
Yeah, actually you did, yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to someday. I know I will, like relatively soon. I didn't know exactly when or how. And then for a little while, it was like it might be in Colorado. And then this thing turned out in Arizona. And it's happened now. But like whenever I make a choice and I know it's in alignment, like I know that's happening, whatever the choice is. Obviously you might pivot, clearly something can change, but I just mean you're not doubting yourself. You're not like it won't happen. You've made the choice. You are an unlimited, infinite creator in form. You can do that. You can do that. Now, if you're making a choice because of a samskara is the Sanskrit word for impression, or it's almost like a trauma. It's an impression from your past. It's an impression. So here's a little caveat here, right? So the caveat is, if this choice that's why we need to look deeply at the things we're choosing to create and at least give ourselves a little space and time before we go all in and know what's happening. Okay, as an example, I'm the first person from, I don't know, the recent generations, at least in my family, to not graduate with a bachelor's degree or higher. It's like my siblings have bachelor's degree, PhD, doctorate. My parents, grandparents, they all have bachelor's degrees or higher and stuff. And so I just did 1 year or 2 years really of college. I got an associate's degree, and then I was like, I'm going to start a business, and if it's a failure, I'll just go back to school and I'll get a degree and whatever. The business was going really well, but there was something inside of me. I was like, maybe I should go back to school and still get a degree. So I started an online, I went to Dallas Baptist University online and started doing classes to get my bachelor's degree and master's degree at the same time, and did that for like a year or so.
Wow.
Yeah, but the point is I did that, and I ended up stopping because it really wasn't in alignment for me, and I did it because of ego. It's because I didn't feel all the way okay with my siblings and other people my age and my circles all having degrees except for me. So what I mean is that choice was from a samskara of a need to feel okay once I had an achievement. I recognized it. I was like, I'm actually not going to do that. I'm stepped back. And now it really doesn't matter. Like I'm a student of life. I'm a student of everything, regardless of an institutional degree. But that's just a little example of, are you making life choices from a traumatic impression or a need to be okay once it arrives? Just really go within before we make big choices in our life. So when we have these three here, we're not in resistance to what is right now. We're serving from the heart in the way that we can. Obviously, we're taking care of life and business. I get it. You have to pay bills. You literally have to. I'm not saying that. I get it. Like, if you have to do what you got to do right now to make a living, do that. And serve from the heart, not be in resistance. But then you can create something different if you choose. You don't have to be stuck, so to speak, in a current reality just because there's not resistance. Like, no, there's no resistance, to being a barista at Starbucks, so I'm okay with always doing that the rest of my life, which is fine if you want, but maybe if you want to have a different experience, you can do that. So that's a really great combination to bring forth that unlimited wealth in whatever form comes for you that's in your authentic way. Well, thank you for listening to this special edition of the You Transform podcast. And I'd love to meet you in person. I recommend that you come out to one of our retreats. We have various retreats throughout the year, so just go to youtransform.com and look at our upcoming retreats to come out and connect and be a part of this one heart love that we are. And I look forward to seeing you then.